Jeffrey Dahmer, known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, stands as one of the most chilling and notorious serial killers in modern history. His gruesome crimes, characterized by necrophilia, cannibalism, and dismemberment, shocked the world and continue to haunt the collective psyche. This is the eerie tale of a man whose outwardly mundane existence concealed an unimaginable darkness. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to Lionel and Joyce Dahmer. His early childhood appeared unremarkable, but beneath the surface, disturbing signs began to emerge. By the age of 4, Dahmer displayed an unsettling fascination with dead animals, often collecting roadkill and stripping the carcasses to study their bones. This morbid curiosity was a grim precursor to his later atrocities. Dahmer's family life was turbulent. His parents' tumultuous relationship, marked by frequent arguments and separations, left him feeling isolated and neglected. As he entered adolescence, his behavior became increasingly withdrawn and erratic. Alcohol abuse started in his teenage years, providing a temporary escape from his growing inner turmoil. In high school, Dahmer was seen as an oddball, often pranking his classmates with bizarre antics that earned him a reputation as a loner. His social isolation deepened, and he began fantasizing about dominating and controlling others, thoughts that would later manifest in his horrific crimes. In 1978, shortly after graduating high school, Dahmer committed his first murder. He picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks, lured him to his parents' home with promises of drinks and companionship, and bludgeoned him to death with a dumbbell. Dahmer then dismembered the body, crushing the bones and scattering them in the woods behind his house. This was the beginning of a 13-year killing spree that would claim the lives of 17 young men. Dahmer's modus operandi involved luring young men, often from gay bars or the streets, to his apartment with promises of money, alcohol, or sex. Once there, he would drug them to render them unconscious before carrying out his gruesome acts. Dahmer's methods of murder varied. He sometimes strangled his victims, other times resorting to stabbing or bludgeoning. The horror didn't end with death. Dahmer would engage in acts of necrophilia with the bodies and meticulously dismember them, often keeping body parts as macabre trophies. His freezer contained human heads, hearts, and other organs, and his apartment was littered with skulls and bones. Dahmer's descent into cannibalism marked a particularly ghastly chapter, as he admitted to consuming parts of his victims to make them a permanent part of him. His apartment, a grisly shrine to his depravity, contained photographs of his dismembered victims, meticulously catalogued body parts, and a large drum filled with acid for dissolving flesh. The sheer scale and methodical nature of his actions revealed a deeply disturbed individual driven by uncontrollable urges. In a twisted quest to create a submissive sexual partner, Dahmer conducted grotesque experiments on his victims. He drilled holes into their skulls while they were still alive and poured acid or boiling water into the wounds, hoping to induce a zombified state. These horrifying attempts were unsuccessful and resulted in agonizing deaths for his victims. Dahmer's obsession with control and dominance over his victims was evident in these experiments, reflecting a chilling blend of sadism and a desire to create living puppets. His lack of empathy and detachment from the suffering he caused added to the horror of his actions. Dahmer's reign of terror came to an end on July 22, 1991, when one of his intended victims, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape and flag down 2 police officers. Edwards led them back to Dahmer's apartment, where they discovered photographs of dismembered bodies and a severed head in the refrigerator. The full extent of Dahmer's depravity was revealed during a subsequent search, and he was immediately arrested. The discovery of his apartment's gruesome contents sent shockwaves through the community and the world. The sheer brutality and inhumanity of his crimes captivated and horrified the public, leading to widespread media coverage and a trial that drew intense scrutiny. During his trial, Dahmer's confessions were as shocking as they were detailed. He expressed a disturbing lack of remorse, describing his crimes with chilling detachment. Dahmer pleaded guilty, but insane, to 15 counts of murder, but the jury rejected his insanity defense. He was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms in prison. While incarcerated at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin, Dahmer initially kept a low profile, but later embraced Christianity, claiming to have found redemption. He participated in Bible studies and was baptized, but many questioned the sincerity of his newfound faith. Dahmer's notoriety made him a target, and on November 28, 1994, he was beaten to death by a fellow inmate, Christopher Scarver. His death brought a grim end to a life marked by unimaginable horror and left many questions about the nature of his evil unanswered. Jeffrey Dahmer's story is a dark journey into the depths of human depravity. His ability to maintain a facade of normalcy while committing such heinous acts has fascinated and horrified the public. Dahmer's crimes have inspired numerous books, documentaries, and films, each attempting to comprehend the incomprehensible. The sheer brutality of Dahmer's acts and the macabre nature of his crimes ensure that his name will forever be etched into the annals of criminal history. His story serves as a grim reminder of the capacity for evil that can lurk behind the most ordinary of facades, a chilling testament to the darkest corners of the human soul. Dahmer's case also raised important questions about the role of societal factors in the development of such extreme pathology. His early isolation, struggles with sexuality, and dysfunctional family dynamics have been scrutinized in an attempt to understand what drives a person to commit such monstrous acts. Jeffrey Dahmer's legacy is one of horror and fascination. His crimes, characterized by their brutality and depravity, continue to serve as a haunting reminder of the darkest potential within humanity. As society grapples with the implications of his actions, the story of Jeffrey Dahmer endures, a grim chapter in the annals of crime that challenges our understanding of morality, sanity, and the human condition.